WWE Crown Jewel is this weekend, so it's time to do what we always do before a big pay-per-view/PLE and predict ways that WWE may ruin it. Now, listen, this is done tongue-in-cheek, this is done in a fun way, but there really are things that do come along every pay-per-view cycle. We're like, oh my gosh, this could actually happen. So we're just trying to manifest them in the opposite direction. Sound good? Awesome. Please subscribe. Nonsense videos every day. Let's go. And so number 10, I'm sure you'll all agree with, and that is Brock Lesnar ruining or interfering in the main event. I just don't want it. I have not enjoyed Brock Lesnar's return for reasons we have talked about before. Randomly comes back at SummerSlam, randomly comes back on SmackDown. For some reason, starts looking for John Cena on Friday nights, even though John Cena had told everyone it was his last episode of SmackDown and he was going to be on Raw, and then totally wrecked John Cena at WrestlePalooza. And now apparently he's gone away again until the Royal Rumble. So I suppose you could argue him getting involved in the main event at least would get rid of that horrible caveat. But I just don't want to see it. I find it boring. It's booking from like 2015. That's how long we've been doing it. It's been over a decade. And I think there are much better people to get involved with Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, if you want to head in that direction. And we are going to talk about that later as well. But I really do think it would leave a sour taste in people's mouths. And again, take you back to a time where a lot of people didn't really like WWE. Now, some people are going to love it, of course. You're all going to have your own opinions. But if something didn't work before, especially after the hot streak WWE has been on, I don't see why you would go back to that. So I'm quite passionate about this one. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar on Crown Jewel, and if we have to wait till the Royal Rumble, so be it. I don't mind if we get to WrestleMania, then Bron Breakker beats him. We wait and see. Number 9 is an interesting one, and I would tell you to go and debate this in the comments. This is very personal to me. This certainly isn't a widespread ruining, if we're going to call it that. But Tiffany Stratton winning, I think, would be a massive mistake. And that's nothing against Tiffany. She's done great. Really, she's still a rookie, or you can use that term. Like, she hasn't been doing wrestling that long at all. And for her years of experience, she's obviously really, really good. It has been a shame that, the only real feud she had post-WrestleMania, post her title win in 2025, was with Charlotte Flair. Everything else has been a bit wishy-washy. But Stephanie Vaquer has only just won the Women's Championship on Raw. We talked about this in the predictions video yesterday, so I definitely tell you to check out that as well. But if Tiffany Stratton wins, you just leave Stephanie Vaquer in such a strange position. Like, she just won the Raw Championship. Her call-up to the main roster has been good, but also been a little bit wibbly-wobbly, so I think it's what John Cena said once, right? It's just not your night, kid. And it's not Tiffany Stratton's night. The project right now has to be Stephanie Vaquer. This is why I don't like these champion versus championship matches, because you put yourself in a strange position to begin with where there was no need. The story is literally, well, somebody in WWE, Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis, I suppose, just decided we should do this at Crown Jewel shows, no matter where they are be, so you can win a massive belt that's kind of terrifying. But I actually think Tiffany Stratton should lose that championship soon, and then we kind of rejig her character a little bit and bring back in some of those heel attributes that got us so over to begin with. So it's actually a situation where she can benefit from losing, whereas Stephanie Vaquer gets defeated. You're like, okay, well, what do we do now? I can't even figure out who Stephanie is going to feud with after all of this, because I want Io Sky and Asuka and Kairi Sane and Io Sky, Rhea, whoever the flub I said, to continue on their feud for as long as possible, and then double back round into the world title scene, because you have good stories. You don't want to rush through them. You want to utilize them as best possible. Tiffany Stratton can lose, and I really don't think it makes a difference to where she is right now. Again, we need a big reshuffle over on SmackDown anyway, whereas the Raw Women's division is super duper good. And if Stephanie Vaquer wins, she can come out and cut a promo when I lived my dream, I became the champion, I whipped everybody's ass, and I whipped her ass, so who's going to be next? I just think it's going to put her even higher on the card than she already is, and give her that edge, not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW, that every single champion needs. And it also really solidifies her to the current audience, who may not watch NXT, right? Some people are main roster, some people are a Raw audience. They only watch Raw. They don't even watch SmackDown. So the more pep we can put in Stephanie Vaquer's step, the better. And even that made me sound like a nursery rhyme. Nursery rhymes have been around for ages, so they must be true. Number 8 will carry on this, and we will move to Cody versus Seth. Take everything I said and paste it over Cody Rhodes' name. I love Cody Rhodes. I think he's one of the best baby faces for years, because he's a nice dude that gets cheered, and we have wanted that for oh so long, especially during the Roman Reigns years before he became the tribal chief. But Seth Rollins cannot become the world champion at WrestleMania, start a new group with Division, and then go 0-4 against Cody Rhodes. You may as well have a banner the next time they come out with Cody Rhodes saying, yeah, I'm the real WWE champion. And Seth Rollins comes out with his own banner saying, I'm really sorry, I've totally ruined this belt, even though when I first won it, my job was to make it as important as possible. So just do the opposite, right? Keep it super duper simple. And again, the next one actually ties in. I'll just throw it in now. Because Randy Orton can get involved here. And I've decided when I was thinking about it, WWE loves moments, right? They're obsessed with moments. All they want to do is moments. Don't just do a moment for the sake of the moment. Make it tie in. So you can have Randy Orton get involved in that main event and cost Cody Rhodes. And this is a moment that can mean something because finally we can do the Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton program, which I've been going on about since 1422. And I would like to see it now. I don't care. Some people keep calling me impatient. All right, I'm impatient. I'm allowed to be impatient. That's my choice. I'm a fool. Somebody throw me off the bridge. But it works because Randy Orton can go after Seth Rollins after Seth Rollins stomped him on SmackDown. And then it can all go bad, but not really bad because Randy Orton's gone heel now and he's a snake again, slithering along, whatever the flub he does. That cost Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins is a heel, so it doesn't matter. He can still come out on Raw and just totally ignore that because, again, he's a bad guy asshole and say, yes, I won, I beat Cody Rhodes, I told you I'm the best. That kind of re-solidifies the vision as well, who I do think the cook-up took us to. And then Cody can come out and smack and go, Randy, why did you do that to me, man? And Randy can be like, I didn't mean to RKO. You can just start. I would just much rather WWE gave me a moment than just they're sat there right now in their creative room going, well, what can we possibly do to get social media buzzing? And they actually, my number one ties into that, so I'll hold off. But there are things you can do just for the sake of doing them, and it just sucks. It always sucks. And you're teaching your brand new audience that you can't enjoy a PLE unless there's some kind of special thing at the end, which does not need to be the case. It can just be the babyface winning, or in this case, Randy Orton getting involved. That one is fine. So I actually think this is the time to do it. I don't think we need to stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. Ruining is a little bit extreme. I think the paper would be fine, even if Seth Rollins beat Cody Rhodes. But you need some distractions. You want to come up with something that, again, you can hook people into SmackDown and fill up the rest of the cards and the big shows before we get to the end of the year. Just do it. Let's pull the Randy Orton trigger. That is not a euphemism. Now, number 6, I actually think aren't going to happen now, given some of the rumors that have come out today. I do think it would be massively disappointing if CM Punk and AJ Lee are not involved on this card in some way. Like, I understand CM Punk not being there because why wouldn't he go after Seth Rollins? But he's CM Punk and he's such a big star. He doesn't need to be there. I think maybe this leans more towards AJ Lee. I don't know if she's going to be on Raw or not. CM Punk is going to be there later on. So is Roman Reigns. Sounds like it could be Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed Part 2, which is interesting. Becky Lynch has nothing going on. She's going to beat up Maxine Dupree later. I think that AJ Lee can confront her. And while it will suck only to have a week's build, I think you want AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch on this show. I actually don't think it's going to happen. Now, you can argue, of course, coming out the other end, you don't have to do an IC championship match or anything like that. Well, actually, I want to talk about the men's one later as well. I can see why CM Punk doesn't come back, but AJ Lee has nothing else to do. AJ Lee has one person he wants to set her sights on, which is Becky Lynch, whereas I can understand the logic of not putting Punk on there, because why would he do anything else but go after Seth, a man that he so hates? Though you could also argue, why isn't Seth mad about the fact he lost at WrestlePalooza? I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a bit of a disappointment, but then I think we'll probably do it at Survivor Series, right, which is happening in about a month's time after Crown Jewel. So at least we can do it there, and that is a big show. Although, wouldn't they be involved in the Women's War Games? Maybe that's what WWE wants to do. You put them in the Women's War Games, so Becky on one side and AJ Lee on the other, and then you could actually probably hold it off to the Royal Rumble because you're filling in the dots. I just think we can make AJ Lee the champion, and they can go on a 3-4-5 match feud. They're great together. Who the flub wouldn't want that? Number 5 is a get out of jail free card. You cannot do this. You must give me a finish to AJ Styles versus John Cena. A non-finish would ruin the show because it make me go, ugh. I'm so bored of non-finishes, especially on big events like this. I think it can go either way, to be honest with you. I predicted John Cena yesterday. Again, you can check out that video. I think sometimes, if it is the last time he's going to be in Australia, well, it is going to be the last time he's in Australia wrestling as far as we know. Just give the fans what they want. AJ Styles at this point has already said he's wrapping up his career, so a loss is not going to affect him. And they're both GOATs in their own right. We should probably do a video on that one day. But I think sometimes WWE feels like they back themselves. Well, all wrestling promotions do this. They book a match and feel like they book themselves into a corner. Like, oh, nobody can win. Yes, they can. Even if AJ Styles beat John Cena, that would have been totally fine. Because you can argue it's going to go John Cena loses to Brock, loses to AJ, loses his next match, and then whoever his final opponent is going to be, John Cena wins that. So he had his redemption arc. He never gave up, and hustle, loyalty, and respect, and all of that noise. So even if you see it as a risk, take a risk. It's okay. It's AJ Styles, one of the best of all time, versus John Cena, one of the best of all time. Even if this was a dumpster fire, which it can't be because they're too talented, their characters and their legacies, their gimmicks are going to be totally okay. So make a decision and just stick to that lane. And number 4, I don't think is going to happen, but I'm going to put it out there anyway, because I think you potentially could do Jey Uso versus LA Knight. All the speculation today is speculation. I'm not going to believe it until I see it or hear it from WWE. But let's just say the next time that Jey Uso wrestles, and that could be at Crown Jewel, of course, he has to win, right? He's going on a character shift at the moment. And unless somebody like Jimmy Uso is going to go heel, or maybe even LA Knight, that's different. But if Jey Uso at the moment is just going on this voyage of darkness, don't have him lose matches, right? Just don't do it, because it won't work. He'll just look like a loser. If all of a sudden you start stomping your feet, being like, oh man, I'm so angry, I'm so annoyed, and then you lose, it's like, what a dick. Excuse my language, kids, don't use that word. It's absolutely terrible, but it's true. I think we actually have something with this Jey Uso thing. So many people, even a few weeks ago, like, oh man, he's like an entrance merchant. Like that's a bad thing. Who wouldn't want to be an entrance merchant? Who want to be so over that your whole shine in wrestling can be your entrance? I think it's such a redundant criticism to make about a pro wrestler, especially, which is all pageantry and showmanship. All of a sudden now, when he's in the ring, he can be a bit darker, a bit edgier, a bit more attitude, to go back to the late 90s. But then if all of a sudden you start losing matches, you're like, well, what a loser. So you're like a teenager. You got all moody, maybe you had your emo phase, and it didn't benefit you at all. It has to benefit Jey Uso. I'm starting to lean towards the fact I think Jimmy Uso is going to turn heel, and we do that again. I don't really want to see that. I'd rather the Usos came back together. Kevin Nash said this. He said, belt up the Usos and give them about for 18 months, but, make them together a little bit like, Urgh. So maybe Jimmy Uso beats up LA Knight or something, but then LA Knight would have to get a partner. The point of this, if Jey Uso is on Crown Jewel, cannot lose, all right? I'm doubling down on this. I think it's important. Number 3 is that if Randy Orton does pop up in a match beforehand, which I think you could do, I think you could argue it either way. If Randy Orton just comes out in the main event and nobody knows that, he's going to get a massive pop, right? Surprise. I can't believe it. But he has to lose. This is the opposite to the Jey Uso thing, because I think Randy Orton's big thing when he finally turns on Cody is I lost to you at the King of the Ring, and I lost to Drew McIntyre, and I lost to this guy, and he got pinned on SmackDown by Seth Rollins. He lost to Gunther at King of the Ring 2024. It's just been lose, lose, lose. I got no momentum. And that's why I finally decided to change my own trajectory to see if being an absolute asshole is going to help me. So if he won on Crown Jewel and then turned heel and then used that excuse, which WWE has done before, it would be totally lame. Now, again, we go back into the rumor mill. Doesn't sound like Randy Orton is going to have a match, which I find crazy. Now, Randy Orton, apart from John Cena, is probably the biggest star in the company in terms of legacy. Maybe a CM Punk. Cody Rhodes will be there one day. Roman Reigns is getting there as well. But Randy Orton goes all the way back to like 2002, whatever the flub it is. So he's like a Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Batista type category guy, right? They all came from OVW at the same time. So to not have him on the Australia show, especially when he can't have that much longer left either, like his sort of retirement day has to be in his head within the next 5 years or so, and how often they're going to go to Australia, very strange. So maybe that's what I'm going to change my answer here to. I think Randy Orton not being on the show at all will suck. Now again, I put him in the main event here as somewhat of a shock, so he would be on there. But if he's not on at all, I do think that ruins it. Because if you're in Australia or the UK or America or Brazil or wherever the flub, of course you want to see Randy Orton. He's one of the flipping goats. Number 2, let's throw in the men's IC title match there. This is going to ruin WrestlePalooza for me, even though it's called Crown Jewel. I made a massive faux pas there. No Intercontinental title match on this show. It's not going to happen. It can't be AJ Styles. Obviously, he's already taken on. I doubt we're going to do the Rusev Part 2 match all of a sudden. I just need more from this championship. And maybe this ties into a lot of championships. Like, again, the Tiffany Stratton one we've talked about, the Raw Tag Team titles, Dominic Mysterio's IC championship. There are so many belts that people have had, and there's just no feuds. There's no elongated programs. I got pumped because I thought Dominic Mysterio was just going to feud with shapes. He took on Pentagon. He took on Octagon. Then he realized there was no circle. There was no rectangle. There was no rhomboid. So he was totally screwed. Like, Dominic Mysterio, as far as I'm concerned, is so good at what he does. I understood he became the mega AAA champion. He could be a WWE World Champion one day. I think he could build a whole brand around him, Raw and SmackDown. I think he could be the guy. That's how good I think he is. And I just think he taps into a portion of the audience not many other people do because he has a young mindset, I suppose. But to get to another relatively big show, given that they're going to Australia, and not have the IC belt defended. Remember when Gunther went on that 666-day reign? It would always be defended. And it was always being sort of proper matches that felt important. I just don't feel like we're doing that with Dominic Mysterio at all. And now here we are, but days away from the thing, and I don't think it's going to happen. It'd be way random as well, which arguably could ruin it too. So this is another sort of headline one. I need more feuds with Dominic Mysterio. Either take him or put him out of the Judgment Day. It kind of feels like the Liv Morgan injury has sort of shifted things around a little bit, but he's still there. He still is the champion, and you have a bunch of mid-card guys that are good to go. I think it's time to start cooking. Number 1 goes back to what we said a few minutes ago. Please don't do a moment just to have a moment. I beg you. do not have Gunther walk out at the end of this show. Now, I cannot wait for Gunther to be back. I don't care if he's on Raw. I don't care if he's on SmackDown. He should go right back into the world title scene, or at least take on someone like a CM Punk in a high-profile program, given that was his last match. But when I was thinking about things that WWE could do, the first things that came to my brain were, oh no, Brock Lesnar could get involved in the main event. And then it was like, oh, maybe Gunther could come back as well. There's been no hints of this. It's not a show where you need to do that. I just think it would be a rush thing so you can try and make some noise on the internet. And it will be a big deal. Obviously not as big as a Brock Lesnar or a Roman Reigns when he came back on Raw, because Gunther sits just beneath those guys. But he's a tippity-top star. He's been away for ages. Absence always makes the heart grow fonder. But don't throw it out there just because, once again, I'm just getting so worried about this. Maybe this is an all-encompassing one as well, which is moments for moments at the end of PLEs. I still think that's what we did at SummerSlam. Given how long the gap was between that and WrestlePalooza, we did not need to have Brock come back there, but they felt like they needed to do something. Then for some reason, Triple H said the same thing at WrestlePalooza, and then they just didn't do it. Just tell people, don't even tell people, but just get out of the habit of acting like, oh, it's going to be a big surprise. Like, sell it on your matches and your storylines and your characters and your stars. That should always be the majority of shows. And then, sure, here and there, when it does fit, stick somebody in. I don't want to see Gunther here. That doesn't mean I don't want to see Gunther back. Again, he makes either show better, and he's a top-tier pro wrestler, and he fits into this wonderful niche where few could even follow because they just don't approach professional wrestling the way he does. Kind of worried that WWE's going to do it, because he could be a face when he comes back, and that could be a feud for Seth Rollins. So it ends with Seth Rollins winning, and then you go, God, and he comes out and just stares. Wrestlers love doing that. I'm just going to stare at you. I'm not going to get the ring and punch you in the face. Once again, I've used Ruined as a little bit of a YouTube title, but it wouldn't be good, and it'd be so damn rushed. And also, I don't think Gunther can win that feud. I'm not 100% sure that's a good idea either. Now there'll be loads of these. It's well easy to ruin a WWE pay-per-view or any pay-per-view these days. So drop me a comment below. Please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Hit the video on the screen, which is my predictions for Crown Jewel as we get ahead of all the craziness. Also, have a crazy week. I'll be at Clash of the Comics on Wednesday. If you're coming down, I'll see you at the sold-out Hammersmith Apollo. So damn nuts. I do appreciate all the support. That's the only way these opportunities come my way. Otherwise, please go to patreon.com/Simon316 for all my watch-alongs. Only $5. We just did Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio, SummerSlam 2002. So damn good. Go get some fitness supplements at GorillaMind.com/Simon. You could Simon get 10% off and more % off, sometimes up to 30. They ship worldwide. They're the best. I wouldn't pick them if I didn't believe in them. NordVPN.com/Simon Miller to get your deal on a VPN, and then you can watch the show, pay-per-view, wink, wink, nudge, nudge on Netflix. It won't cost you as much as ESPN. I didn't say that. Simon316 on social media, and then come get a cameo at Simon Miller. Come see my bizarre producing promo thingamajigs. That's where most of them are now, on TikTok at Simon Miller. And I would love more love on TikTok, so yeah, go sign up for that. It's funny. I promise. Maybe. I don't know. ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller 316. No, just Simon Miller for t-shirts. Otherwise, enjoy Crown Jewel. Enjoy Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Collision, whatever you're going to do this week. I'll see you soon.